As the pandemic swept across the globe, a stark contrast emerged in leadership styles. While many adhered to strict guidelines, Starmer chose to prioritize personal coaching over public accountability. This decision showcased a troubling lack of empathy for the struggles faced by ordinary citizens during such a challenging time. In the realm of political maneuvering, Starmer's tactics became increasingly deceptive. Misleading statements regarding pensions, taxation, and monetary policy began to surface, each one further eroding the fragile trust the public had in his leadership. These actions painted a picture of a man more concerned with image than integrity. The curious incident of hiring a voice coach during lockdown sparked serious questions about Starmer's priorities. It led many to wonder whether he genuinely grasped the challenges facing citizens struggling to make ends meet, highlighting a growing disconnect between him and the public he claimed to serve. Despite his coaching endeavors, Starmer's speeches fell flat, lacking the excitement and engagement that one would expect from a leader. This failure drew mockery from peers and critics alike, further illustrating the stark divide between his polished public persona and his actual performance in front of the microphone. When pressed with questions during a press conference, Starmer's quick dismissal raised eyebrows. Rather than embodying transparency, his behavior suggested a sense of guilt, a troubling reflection of the very criticisms he had levied against Boris Johnson's handling of the pandemic. The timing of Starmer's voice coaching was particularly notable, occurring amidst the strict lockdowns when the general populace was expected to strictly follow the rules. Such a contradiction only served to undermine his credibility, leaving many citizens wondering about his commitment to the very principles he espoused. As public backlash against Starmer intensified, his credibility hung by a thread. Questions regarding his integrity and ability to lead effectively during trying times became ever more prevalent, casting shadows over his political future. The discontent among the public was not merely a reaction to a single incident, it stemmed from a broader sense of hypocrisy. While leaders enjoyed certain privileges, everyday citizens made considerable sacrifices, contributing to a brewing storm of anger and resentment. In response to growing frustration, Starmer's refusal to confront his actions only exacerbated the situation. This unwillingness revealed a troubling double standard that further alienated the public from their leaders, deepening the divide between them. Starmer's criticism of Boris Johnson also underscored the glaring double standards in political accountability. He had previously demanded rigorous adherence to the law from others but now found himself facing similar accusations, creating a perception of hypocrisy. The Beergate controversy became a significant blemish on Starmer's reputation. His public assertions during this time emphasized the importance of lawfulness and accountability, yet these words now echoed hollow, creating a sense of betrayal among constituents. In a bid to reclaim his standing, Starmer's focus on freezing council tax reflected a shift towards addressing voters' financial concerns. It appeared as though he aimed to position the Labour Party as a beacon of hope for working people's economic difficulties, a calculated move in an increasingly turbulent political landscape. However, the proposal to freeze council tax bills was quickly overshadowed by the accusations of hypocrisy that continued to follow Starmer. This contradiction further weakened his credibility, making it difficult for many to reconcile his words with his actions. Despite a loud outcry and numerous complaints from the public, legal authorities ultimately decided not to investigate Starmer's actions, citing a technicality. This conclusion only fueled frustration regarding the perceived lack of political accountability. The notion that political leaders can evade consequences for their actions lends itself to widespread distrust among citizens. Starmer's failure to abide by the very rules he had enforced exacerbated an already growing sense of betrayal and disappointment. The absence of a thorough police investigation into political scandals further inflamed public frustration. Many began to perceive a glaring double standard between politicians and ordinary citizens, an unsettling truth that resonated deeply across society. Amidst this landscape of disillusionment, figures like Hopkins emerged, vocal advocates for transparency and accountability. Her fervent demands for ethical conduct among those in power underscore a broader societal call for integrity in leadership. As the pandemic laid bare the significant sacrifices made by the public, the dissonance between the behavior of some political leaders and the realities faced by everyday citizens became increasingly stark. This widening gap has intensified calls for accountability and ethical governance during times of national crisis.